What's up everyone, it's Ojh&x and we are back at it again, and in this video everything you need to know about Season 7, which is coming to Warcraft Rumble starting on the 10th of July and running through till the 20th of August. There are 5 new Cenarion minis, that's 2 leaders and 3 just normal mini units, and some of the abilities, some of the traits, the way that these work are going to change PvP forever. We're going to get into that, bit of B-roll footage to look through as well. Then we've got the Cenarion Festival, a 3-week festival that's going to help you first unlock and then level up all of the new minis in the game. And then we've got Moonglade, the new zone, which is coming to the game. Let's dive straight into it. Let's meet the Cenarion family. Let's start with one of the leaders. It's Cenarius himself, a sustain control and defensive mini. The passive for Cenarius is a 20% health buff to your other Cenarion mini, so a little bit or basically the same as what Cairn offers. Can root nearby enemies and passively heal nearby allies, and the talents that we've got then, so we've got Force of Nature to summon a treant when a rooted enemy dies, so that's kind of similar to the sort of like effect that the Witch Doctor has with having that you know, that connected beam and then having an impact that happens on death there. Then you've got Revitalize, so allies entering tranquility trigger an additional heal pulse, which we'll see all of these in the B-roll footage in a minute. And then Wild Growth, so on deploy root all enemies for 5 seconds, and that's not just enemies within a particular radius, that is all enemies. Like I said before, I have got some footage. I've only got clips for Cenarius, but as soon as I get anything for the other leaders, I'll be sure to upload them and pass them on to you. As far as traits go, we're a little bit lightweight on understanding all of the traits that go with all 5 of the new minis, but what we do know so far is that Cenarius will be elemental, healer and resistant. Let's have a look at some of his gameplay. Right, first up then, the clip on the left, this is Cenarius going about his business, doing the attacks that he does. Let's have a look, let's get this loaded up. So, as you can see, it deploys with a like an area of effect ring around it, which has got that sort of healing aura. And by the looks of it, does a pretty, you know, hits pretty strong. Will flip between, you know, is obviously got quite a long range to it as well. I've got all the stats for the minis, like health, damage and all that on a later slide. But as you can see, really popping off. I think Cenarius is going to be a pretty good leader, doing good damage all over the place. Immediately roots that prowler and dispatches of it with ease. So Cenarius, by this gameplay, for me anyway, Cenarius looks like he's going to be pretty strong, and I don't mind that because I think quite a lot of the minis that have been released recently have been fairly underwhelming, as long as they don't go around the usual mobile gaming sort of strategy, which is to release a mini that is absolutely broken, busted, people pay to upgrade it, and then a week or 2 later they nerf it into the ground. But as you can see, I think Cenarius looks pretty strong as far as his core attacks goes. Now looking at the first of the 3 talents then, so the Force of Nature, summon a treant when a rooted enemy dies. So as I was saying earlier, similar to the Witch Doctor, if Cenarius has got an effect on that mini that dies, then there is an additional effect that happens. So let's have a look here then. So Cenarius making his way around. We've got a goblin, sorry, we've got a murloc, a couple of murlocs and some sneaky bandits in there. Who are going to come into that radius, that area of effect. They both die and they turn into these mini trees. Now I'm not 100% sure of the health of the mini trees, but you know, look, more minis on the map, and they look like, you know, there's going to provide some protection and some kind of you know, tankiness for your backline minis. And in fairness, they do look like they're pretty tanky. That little one has stayed alive for a significant amount of time, being beat on by Boss and the Tauren. So those mini trouts might be absolutely busted. We'll see. Anyway, let's look at their next talent. Next talent then is going to be Revitalize, so allies that enter the Tranquility, so that green ring trigger an additional healing pulse. Let's have a look at how this works then. So we're going to play a Fairy Dragon and then Cenarius. Fairy Dragon, you know, kind of one-shotted that Drake and then was healed back up. And we're going to see this Fairy Dragon be healed a number of times. So this heal pulse does look to be quite effective. A Fairy Dragon skipping backwards there. Look, almost healed back to full health within that range. Healing, and has basically taken out that massive Chimera boss there. So that additional heal pulse could be pretty strong. That looked like it was healing a significant amount, and it wasn't just, it didn't look like it was just one heal pulse, unless I sort of miswatched the footage, and maybe it's just one huge ticking healing pulse, but we'll see how that works. Again, that looks pretty strong to me. Final talent then is Wild Growth, so on deploy root all enemies for 5 seconds. As I said, this isn't enemies that are just within the Tranquility bubble, within that green circle. You'll play Cenarius and everything is rooted for 5 seconds. So again, I think that looks like a global effect, really strong all over the map. 5 second route is going to be huge, but again, it's only on that initial deploy, and then minis are going to have to come inside that Tranquility circle to be affected by further routing. The second Cenarion leader then is going to be Ojh&x, tanky, lumbering. He's going to be plodding along, but a new mechanic in the game, completely different than anything we've seen before, is Safe Arbor, which is going to mean that there is a mobile deployment zone around Ojh&x. Wherever it decides to wander, there will be a mobile deployment zone. What that looks like, I don't have any footage. But that could be pretty interesting, and I'll get to that in a minute when we talk about some of the talents. The other unusual thing, which is going to be you know, really interesting, especially in PvP, is Ojh&x blocks enemy unbound deploys that are near him. So if you do play some of your minis within that mobile deployment zone, they can't just be safe piloted out of there. Equally, you can't just distract Ojh&x with something like a cool ball and drop a load of skeletons behind him to take out Ojh&x. That is not going to happen. Now, what happens when you safe pilot or when you drop some unbounds onto Ojh&x? The answer is that I don't really know as far as they are blocked. Now, I don't really know what that means. Can you just not drop those minis onto him? As in, are they literally blocked and then there's like an X that turns up and you can't place them? Or do they, you know, do you drop them on there and they then like deploy like to the side or around the edge of the deployment zone, a little bit like your core base? Again, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but again, completely new, unique in blocking the unbound talents then. So Barkskin, Safe Harbor grants armored for 8 seconds. Petrify, Safe Harbor persists for 8 seconds after death. Let's just talk about that very quickly, because if, for example, Ojh&x, even though lumbering along, wandering along, might take a while to get there, dies near a tower or near a core, can you then drop something like a Gary Gargoyle right on top of that tower or the core and have the game done and dusted? I don't know, but my suspicion is yes, because, you know, as long as you've got it within that 8 seconds. So we'll see how that pans out, because that might be completely broken. But hey, we'll see. That's something completely different. And the final talent from the trees, so minis deployed within the Safe Harbor area deal double damage on their first attack. Traits then, another tank, got the Safe Harbor and vulnerability. Like I say, there might be more traits, but at the moment, these are just the ones that I know of. The first of the 3 new minis then that aren't leaders, we're opening up with the Ancient of War, and a completely new cost mechanic on the Ancient of War is that the Ancient of War, when you play it, will cost all of the gold in your hand. You can play the Ancient of War for 1 gold, you can play the Ancient of War for 10 gold. The thing that changes is the size and power based on how much you spend. So the talents then, you've got the sapling. So if you play the Ancient of War for 4 gold or less, has a 50% movement speed boost. Behemoth, so if played for 6 gold or more, gains siege damage, and the lightning rod will redirect enemy unbound deploys to the current location. So again, another unbound mechanic in there. So my understanding of this is that if the Ancient of War is on the map, if your opponent wants to drop a cool bore on one of your siege towers, instead of dropping on the siege tower, it will now deploy at the Ancient of War's location. So that's going to give you that sort of bit of peace of mind there, I suppose, that when the Ancient of War is on the map, that a Maiev isn't just going to be able to just ambush one of your side towers or your main base. So again, a really, really interesting change of styles of play, affecting PvP and things like that. The traits we know at the moment, tank and armoured, again, there could be more, but the Ancient of War could be really, really interesting as a mini. Next one then is going to be the Bog Beast. Pretty straightforward. The Bog Beast, tanky mini. Talents are going to just help with his tankiness, whether it be, survivability or whatever that may be. But essentially, we know the Bog Beast from, previous maps, kind of lumbers along just a big old tank. Talents then, Flourish, 30% extra on heals received. Living Wood, so gains armor until reduced to 50% health, which I assume, like other mechanics, you go back above 50% health, and the Bog Beast will again be armored. And then Rampant Growth on death, root nearby enemies for 6 seconds. So essentially, your standard tank mini. Traits then, we've got tank and resist on the Bog Beast. And the final one of the new minis is the Moonkin. I mean, Cenarions, Druids, would it be complete without a Moonkin? No, it absolutely would be not. As it says, fan favourite, bulky, ranged spellcaster, alternates between a single target, damage spell, and an AoE spell. So the talents that we've got then, Vengeance, to take damage, increase casting by 50% for 5 seconds, which as long as Moonkin's got enough health to last for to receive a shot or two, could be pretty powerful. Moonglow, after deploying, your next spell gains +2 levels. Yes, this does pair with Jaina. If you've got Jaina out on the arena and you've got the Moonglow talent for the Moonkin, then you can have a spell which is +5 levels, which could be again incredible. I say will be incredibly powerful in a lot of situations. And then finally, you've got Typhoon, a classic Moonkin spell from World of Warcraft days. On deploy, knock back nearby enemies. So traits then, at the minute we've got Elemental, and we are expecting this one to be ranged as well. As you can see, it does single target damage and it does AoE damage, so I'm not sure what trait it's going to get. Maybe it's going to get both, I'm not sure at the minute. All I know is that it gets the Elemental trait, so that is the 5 minis, or they are the 5 minis that are coming at the start of Season 7, 10th of July. Let me know, do you think those unbound altering mechanics are going to be a bit busted? Which one is your favourite? Let's move on to the next bit, which is the stats for all of those I'm not going to go through all of this. You can pause it, you can read it, but again, it talks about health, damage, and all of that sort of stuff. So give it a pause, get read up that, and then you can see how things are going to interact with, different spells, deep breath, blizzard, etc, etc. We're going to move on though to the Cenarion Festival. The Cenarion Festival will begin with the start of Season 7. It will run for 3 consecutive weeks, and this is going to help you unlock and level up the new minis in the Cenarion family. To be involved in this, you just need to have 40 sigils. So hopefully people are going to be able to get to that reasonably quickly, and the event is going to be stacking quests, missions that you're going to basically just complete for rewards. So during the 3 weeks there will be a theme for each week. These at the moment are subject to change, but the details that I've got is that you're going to have Meet the Cenarions as the first one. So 2 Cenarion minis are going to be added into all of the armies for the quests and missions for that week. Then you've got the Cenarion Surge. So armies are replaced with a duel, a bit like in the Surges where we have the mixed leader teams. So you're going to have the Cenarion family as half of that equation, plus another, which I don't know if that is randomly selected or not for you. And then finally, you've got March of the Treants. We know how the March of the kind of series works, but on this one, rather than it being on you, you know, just playing minis and more minis appear, on this one, you mine gold and it grows a Treant mini to fight for you. So again, could be subject to change, but they are the 3 weekly ideas that we've got at the moment. I says most of this event will be solo player. I have clarified, I think all of this event is actually going to be solo player, but there is going to be an increasing difficulty as the event goes on. So again, another event that's coming into the game. I will find out more details for you. I think, if I'm right, that things like sieges and raids will continue during this 3-week period, but I'm not sure that DMF and Blingtron will. So just look out for that. But this 3-week event sounds like there's going to be plenty to do. And as you can see at the bottom down in the rewards and replayability section, is that there will be gold, tomes, energy, and the new minis themselves to unlock. You've got the opportunity to earn every single reward. So unlike Darkmean Fair, unlike Blingtron, where you need to work out the best path for you or the most valuable path in terms of gold spend and what things are worth, that if you complete enough of the quests and the challenges, you'll be able to unlock everything on the event rewards tree, which I am told is a pretty valuable rewards tree. I don't have a picture on it. We'll have to wait and see. Only a week to go, and we can dive straight into that. Finally, then, Moonglade as the area. It's going to be the Cenarion themed PvE campaign zone, which is going to consist of, obviously, you've got your normal mode, and then once you've done that, you could be able to unlock it in heroic as well. It's going to unlock at 74 sigils for your normal pathing through the campaign, and its placement is after Blackrock Mountain, so after you've killed General Drakisath, this will be the next one for you. And on heroic, obviously, like I say, you've completed the normal zone, and then the recommended levels here is it's going to, like I say, follow on from Blackrock Mountain, so you're looking at level 26 to 27 of the bosses within there. So I'm not going to go through each individual boss because I don't have any gameplay footage or anything, but the 5 bosses are there. I think there's possibly a little bit of consideration about some name changes, possibly, but the mechanics of the boss, whether it's soaring above the peaks of Moonglade or powerful shape-shifting druids or whatever, the actual boss is going to remain the same. So you can have a read of them and let me know which one you think is going to be the funnest to play against or which one you think is going to be the most difficult. Finally, then, how do the Cenarion family fit in with the current in-game mechanics? What is their integration? So, you'll be able to earn war chest rewards as well as a means of selecting who you're going to use to complete different heroic campaigns. So, with the heroic campaigns at the moment, you have to complete it with all 5 of the families to then, earn that sigil at the end and complete that particular boss. Now there are 6 families in the game. You will be able to pick any 5 of the families to complete a particular boss, so you don't need to use all 6. So I'm a little bit disappointed, I suppose, because whilst people are trying to level up and all the rest of it, I think that adding the Cenarion family to the previous heroics would have just given people that little bit extra, another tome. It doesn't need to be anything too dramatic. But I would have liked to have seen that. But that's not the route that they have gone down. They have decided, as you can see from the left of the 2 pictures, is that there are 5 blank star spots, and you complete it with any of the 5 families, and then once you've done that, then that boss is completed. So it does give you some flexibility if you're struggling with a particular family. As far as the war chest is concerned then, so there is a new kind of circle, a new progress bar to fill for the Cenarion family. Rewards will be exactly the same for that family, so you'll get the various tomes at 2k, 4k and 6k. The actual war chest rewards haven't changed at all, still at 10,000, 20,000 and 30,000. Again, if I'm being completely honest, I think that they've missed a bit of a trick here. I think this was an opportunity to look at the war chest. I'm sure that there are some guilds that it maybe takes quite a long time to finish, and that's absolutely fine, I understand that, but I think there's also a lot of guilds who steamroll through this in the first couple of days, certainly within the first week, and I feel that now there's going to be another family added to not change the overall rewards from the war chest was a bit of a mistake. But hey, we are where we are, and we'll keep providing our feedback on that. But that's how the Cenarion family are going to integrate with the war chest. And finally, as far as dungeons and grids and all the rest of it, is that the first Cenarion dungeon and grid cycle will take place on July the 14th. So this update for me in the UK, depending on time zones for other people, will go live on the Wednesday. When the dungeons reset on the Sunday, it will be Cenarion week, so the rotation will be after the Horde week, which we've got coming up. Cenarions will fit in there in between Horde and Blackrock, and from there will be available for you to select to get your stars from the grid. So that is it. That is everything that I know about Season 7. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on it? I think that I think a lot of the minis being introduced are going to change PvP, or certainly add another dimension to PvP. I think that the addition of the Moonglade area is a good thing. The Cenarion event running for 3 weeks and being able to get all of the rewards in that, I think, is a good thing. I would like at some point some more long-lasting content. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who steamroll through the Moonglade area, no probs at all, because already having minis, 28, 29 and beyond. So yeah, we'll keep finding feedback. I've asked for a roadmap to see if I can get any more details of anything, any hints for what's coming in the future, Season 8, 9, 10, anything like that. So if I hear anything and I can share it, I will do as soon as possible. But thanks for watching. If you're not already, please get yourself subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.